everybody, and welcome to episode number 9 of Diehlman at Halftime, the NBA podcast that tops all others. I'm your host, Larry Diehlman. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome aboard, and if you've been a loyal listener, welcome back. We have much to get to today and not a lot of time to do it. We have 5 sections that we'll get into, a general overview of the NBA this week, and our usual highlight, lowlight, random stat, and game of the week. Let's get to our content for the week. A big story dropped last Tuesday regarding an East Coast team. Washington Wizards owner Ted Leonsis and Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin had a press conference on Wednesday to unveil plans for a new sports arena and entertainment district for the Wizards and the NHL's Washington Capitals. A deal is apparently close to moving both franchises from Washington, D.C. to Northern Virginia. Sources told NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski that the two teams would move to Alexandria's Potomac Yard neighborhood. The prediction is that the new arena would open for the 2028-29 season. Per Google Maps, a drive from Capital One Arena, which is where the Wizards and Capitals play now, to Potomac Yard only takes 15 minutes. I know some fans aren't going to be happy with the fact that their teams would move, but it's not like the Wizards and Capitals are moving across the country. For example, the Utah Jazz used to be the New Orleans Jazz, and the LA Lakers used to be the Minneapolis Lakers. And here's some other facts from Adrian Wojnarowski's article, which he wrote for ESPN. Virginia state lawmakers voted last Monday to approve the arena project in Northern Virginia, the Washington Post reported. A final vote of the state's full General Assembly is needed to pass the project, which would create an 8 million square foot campus site in Alexandria. ABC 7 in Virginia reported that the teams could break ground by 2025. The Wizards and the Capitals have been playing in Capital One Arena in downtown Washington, D.C. since 1997 and will continue to do so until a proposed new arena complex could be constructed sometime in the coming years. Later Tuesday, as news of Leonsis' plans began to spread, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser announced a new bill offering Monumental Sports $500 million in financing for, quote, a complete renovation and modernization of Capital One Arena. This proposal represents our best and final offer and is the next step in partnering with Monumental Sports to breathe new life and vibrancy into the neighborhood and to keep the Washington Wizards and Capitals where they belong, in Washington, D.C., Bowser said. Leonsis could exit the Capital One Arena lease in 2027. But how about this for a big story? Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors has been suspended indefinitely for accidentally whacking Phoenix's Yusuf Nurkic in the face in their road loss to the Suns on Tuesday. This is the second time this season that Green has been suspended. The chokehold on Rudy Gobert last month sidelined Green for 5 games. Now we might not see him for at least 3 weeks, according to league sources, maybe even longer. He is expected to, quote, receive counseling and work with the Warriors and NBA during the suspension. Before returning to the court, he has to meet certain criteria. Ja Morant vibes, anyone? In my opinion, Green is just out of control. Player safety always comes first, and I've been seeing players say that they hope Green gets the counseling and help that he needs, but this is getting out of hand. Draymond Green has been doing this for a long time, but especially this season, he has been out of control, and I hope that he can find the help that he needs, and we will talk about the Warriors more in just a little bit. This episode is entitled Under the Lights. So, who's raising eyebrows at the moment? Let's go to our highlight, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think we all remember last year when the Minnesota Timberwolves were mocked for trading for Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz. The trade seemed like a huge overpay. Not anymore, it seems. The Timberwolves are 19-5, hold the best record in the Western Conference, and are second only to Boston for the best record in the NBA. We've been so used to seeing Minnesota in the middle of the pack in the West that going from being mid to first is eye-opening. They lead the league in lowest field goal percentage by an opponent, 43.4%. Anthony Edwards is averaging 24.2 points, 5.3 rebounds, 5.1 assists, and 1.3 steals per night. Besides Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns is still manning the paint for the Timberwolves. He only saw action for 29 games last season due to a grade 2 calf strain, which he later admitted was a grade 3, which is worse, but he's still putting up his usual stats and shooting well. Minnesota also has Mike Conley, Jaden McDaniels, and Naz Reid at their disposal. Overall, this is a well-constructed team that looks to make noise throughout the season. Of course, even with the playoff test looming large for the Timberwolves, they're in good shape. Minnesota's next game is tonight, Monday, December 18th at 7:30 p.m. They will visit the Miami Heat. Let's go to our low light, the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, you thought I forgot about them. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The Golden State Warriors, once a powerhouse, have become mortal. Golden State is 12-14 and 11th in the Western Conference. Despite winning a title just 18 months ago in the 21-22 season, this team is heading for what Jim Morrison of the rock band The Doors would describe as the end. By exiling Jordan Poole to the Wizards after last year's altercation between him and Draymond Green, there's that pattern again, it seemed like things would improve. They have not. In the aforementioned loss to Phoenix on Tuesday, Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins were on the bench in the final moments because of their recent lackluster performances. 35-year-old Steph Curry is averaging 28 points per game on 41% three-point shooting, but he won't be able to carry teams every night, not at that age. While having Chris Paul come off the bench is an interesting move, he'll be 39 in May. Larry, what about Draymond Green? I don't know how Warriors fans, or anyone for that matter, can defend Green's actions anymore. We already discussed his indefinite suspension and the Rudy Gobert chokehold in the opener, but I forgot to add Green's stomp on Domantas Sabonis' chest in last season's playoffs. If the postseason started today, Golden State would be 2 games out of the final play-in tournament spot. With their aging core and with Draymond continuing to get suspended, the Warriors have some decisions to make very soon. Their next game is tomorrow, Tuesday, December 19th at 10 o'clock. They will host the Boston Celtics. Let's go to our random stat. A good team always needs a good point guard. Not having a solid point guard is like going into battle without a general. Luckily, 2 teams, specifically in the Eastern Conference, have eradicated this problem. Tyrese Haliburton of the Indiana Pacers and Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks are the only 2 players in the NBA currently averaging 10 or more assists per game. Young averages 10.8 per night, while Haliburton averages 12. Young has always been known to dish the rock at an elite rate. In his lone year at Oklahoma, he gave the Sooners 8.7 assists per game, which led Division I basketball. Young would average 8.1 assists in his rookie year with Atlanta in the 2019-20 season. Meanwhile, Haliburton dished out 6.5 dimes per contest in his final season with the Iowa State Cyclones in 2019-20. Despite averaging 5.3 assists in his only full season with the Sacramento Kings, which was his rookie year in the 2020-2021 season, his numbers have soared every year since. With the extraordinary numbers Young and Haliburton are putting out, it won't be a surprise to see them on the All-Star list soon. Now only if the Pacers and Hawks could average more wins. Finally, let's go to our game of the week. For this week's game of the week, let's go with the New York Knicks at Los Angeles Lakers. The game is tonight, Monday, December 18th at 10:30 p.m. Despite this game being a late game on a Monday night for us on the East Coast, the battle of two big market teams, especially good teams, should be a fun one. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are keeping the Lakers' head above water in the form of being in the upper play-in tournament seeds. The Knicks have been consistent recently, even with a few tough losses. My one concern in this game is the loss of Mitchell Robinson for New York. The Knicks' starting center and paint protector is out 8 to 10 weeks after ankle surgery. Ouch. Davis is not going to give New York a pass for that. I'm going to take the Lakers, 122-108. Well, that's all the time we have for today. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on social media. I have 2 Twitter accounts and 2 Instagram accounts. The podcast accounts are under @Diehlman_NBA for both Twitter and Instagram. My personal Twitter is @LarryDiehlman18, and my personal Instagram is @Mr_Sports18. They are also in the description on SoundCloud. And don't forget to spread the word about Diehlman at halftime. See you next time, fellow Hoops fans.